A prolific Marvel title has just cracked the top 5 and is joined by an exciting brand new number 1. The Czech Republic, Poland, and Hungary have all joined NATO, Legoland opened in California, and the Vice President of Paraguay was assassinated. The Matrix has blown into theaters, and me looking back without any hindsight, it was frickin' awesome! But that was just some of what was happening in the world. What was going on in comics? Folks, I'm here to tell you just that. I'm Haussmann, and it is March 1999 in comics. DC has been going all out in an attempt to bring back the Justice Society of America by putting out a 9-issue miniseries, all in 1 month. The JSA returns in several throwback titles including Adventure Comics, All-American Comics, All-Star Comics, issues number 1 and 2, National Comics, Sensation Comics, Smash Comics, Star-Spangled Comics, and Thrilling Comics, all of which of course are throwbacks to the Golden Age where they first appeared. But even all of those weren't enough for DC to crack up into the top 20 with more than one title. I'm sorry to be crapping on DC month after month, but it's just what it was like at the time. Like, DC had a big success with their Wildstorm stuff, like Danger Girl and Battle Chasers last month, cracking into the top 5, right? That's a lot of sales. But if you were a fan of independent comics then, or even now, you understand that getting an issue every month isn't reality. Honestly, we won't be seeing either of those titles on this show for a few more months, so was it worth it? And I know I just said I'm sorry to be crapping on DC every month, but it is time for everybody's favorite segment. What beat Superman this month? In 1938, Action Comics number 1 hit the stands. The world of comics was altered forever and pointed in the direction that we are still headed into this day. So it should be the milestone that everything else is compared against. So what sold better than Action Comics this month? A lot, actually. Action Comics only sold 39,558 issues and sat in the number 59 slot. So I have 58 titles to choose from. Thankfully, at least a few of those are No Man's Land. Kiss Psycho Circus is up there again. You know what? Mutant X Annual 1999. That's what beat Superman this month. But even both that and Action Comics are both well ahead of Black Panther and Deadpool. It's kind of funny how times have changed. Brand new first issues of note this month include Nova, a brand new IP from Wildstorm called The Authority, which James Gunn now has slated to become a major motion picture in the next couple of years. It had just over 40,000 printed, and if you look, you can still find some of these online for under $30. Honestly, right now that might be a good chance to buy some of those up. The Authority number 1, 1999. Anarchy got a self-titled series this month, and there's another number 1, as I mentioned, we'll talk about in the top 5. The Tick made a return this month too. Then there was something else called Pokemon. A second Pokemon limited series debuted this month with orders more than 3 times higher than the previous one had, which only came out months earlier. A lot of retailers ignored that first series, but by March, North America was knee-deep in Pokemania, so they were not going to miss out on this one. Now I know what you're all asking. Well, what are the top 10 comics this month? At number 10, we have Kevin Smith's Daredevil number 7. Since the death of Karen Page in issue number 5, this title has climbed up the charts. Issue 6 went down a little, but 7's back up. I don't know what next month is going to do. Honestly, I don't live in the future. If death does boost the numbers, be sure to check back next month because Mysterio dies in issue number 7 here this month. Honestly though, Kevin Smith's, for better or for worse, whatever you think of him and his comic career now, his stuff on Daredevil was great and worth checking out. Number 9 brings us the fallout of the Magneto War personified in the miniseries Magneto Rex, and issue number 1 is where Magneto has been handed the island nation of Genosha, and he's beginning to build up his mutant utopia. I know for the past couple months I've been crapping on the Magneto War, and I kind of forgot about this part of it, but yeah, like Magneto becoming the ruler of Genosha has been like a huge part of the X-Men comics for the next 10 years. Well, up till new X-Men destroys Genosha. There's actually a big shift in the political world structure of the X-Men comics at the time. I guess Magneto War meant something after. Number 8 is the JLA. It's, as I mentioned, DC's only appearance in the top 20. Wildcats was number 21. JLA issue number 29. It's part of the whole Return of the JSA thing, and this is actually some of the earliest appearances of Jakeem Thunder. And Superman fights Shazam, Captain Marvel, so that's cool. Wolverine number 138 jumps the adamantium-boned Knucklehead up into the 6th spot. Eric Larson, who I didn't realize ever wrote Wolverine, he took something and he gives us Wolverine vs. Galactus in this issue. It was co-starring the Starjammers. Wolverine did not win. He escaped, and he lived. But yeah, like Wolverine vs. Galactus, it's kind of crazy. Number 5 belongs to the Avengers, issue number 16. Justice is still working on finding his confidence on the team, while the Avengers do battle with the Wrecking Crew. No stranger to the top 5 is Spawn number 84. It takes the 4th spot, and I'm sure it was fine. Like, sorry if I offend any Spawn fans. I've said before, like, I couldn't get into Spawn. I liked the HBO series quite a bit. I liked the movie as much as anybody could. And the action figures are great. Spawn is so cool looking. Spawn is such a cool idea. I just can't get into the Spawn comics. And I know maybe I need to try harder. This next one, however, I did read it. Spawn the Dark Ages #1. It debuts with a strong 113,648 units, taking it to the #3 position, well above that 4 slot. It's a great concept. It's the Hellspawn of medieval times. You know, Marvel Spider-Man 2099, but it's like Spawn Swords Time. Like, Swords Time. Spawn. Like with horses and shit. I don't know what else to call it. It's awesome. It's medieval Spawn. The issue itself was not that great. X-Men and Uncanny X-Men are again in the #2 and #1 spot. Now, are you guys looking at the numbers I'm putting down here? Like, I know I'm looking at them because I'm putting them here, but this is the first time I've realized, like, these 2 X-Men books are each about 15,000 units more than the next highest books. And, like, everything from spot 140 down is less than that. Less than 15,000 units total. That's more than Archie sells in 4 months. Anyway, in the #2 spot, X-Men 88 is a cover that kind of makes you think about Daken 6 years before he even existed. But this cover is Xavier with Wolverine claws because the X-Men are trapped in another dimension and there's fears and there's psychic stuff going on. And at one point, Xavier's like, I have Wolverine claws. Is what it is. Uncanny X-Men #368. It actually came out before X-Men 88, but I talk about it after because it's #1. But I gotta say, first and foremost, it has got a cover that is worth hanging on the wall. Like, is that not a great cover? And then sadly, that doesn't really depict what happens completely in the issue. It sort of does, because like Wolverine is going to Genosha and he's trying to assassinate Magneto. He's like, screw this guy. He sucks, bub. I'm gonna bleed him. And then like you discover he's just been running it he's been running the scenario in the danger room over and over and over again. And he doesn't always win. He said I got him a couple times. That's really it. Then just a bunch of other stuff happens, and then like they end up getting shunted to another dimension at the end. But Storm is like, nope, listen, Wolverine. Magneto is now the ruler of a sovereign nation. You cannot just go after him like that. Like, we have to respect this. Suck as it might. This is the world we live in now. Great cover. Now that I'm reading these month to month, the X-Men is losing its luster, and I don't feel it deserves these top spots, but I don't buy the books back in the 90s to make these numbers. I did buy a couple. In a few months when I start collecting comics, it's X-Men. So, I mean, yeah. I can't complain. Anyway, do you guys remember these comics from this time? Like, what do you remember? What are you looking forward to coming up? I've been Haussmann. You might have noticed this is a new channel, so thank you for watching this and the other 2 months that I brought over to this channel. Subscribe so you don't miss out any of this stuff, and stay Haussy, folks. I love to see it. But even both that and Action Comics are both well ahead of So honestly, right, mate? Anarchy got the start of a Anarchy got the start of a series. Wolverine #138 jumps the adamantium